Yeah. It was they had a nice crowd. I think the crowd got to our when we get to play them at home, so we get to read it. Yeah, right. How are you? Football, you get one try. That's what it is.
Just the weather.
Yeah.
Let me get all the numbers for all that.
This is not something excessive.
Well, yeah, we start cooking pretty early and then
PDFs.
only a window.
Yes. I need his phone number. If somebody has it, so I can call him. Please, thank you.
Okay. I'll follow up. Okay.
So he sent me some.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sounds good.
Twix here. Twix are like one of my favorites. Oh, I can't eat this one. I only eat right Twix. Yeah.
Ready to have them all. Yeah.
If you guys want to sit anywhere, on us here too.
That was our old approach anyway, so we have a lot of that done.
Okay, well. I know for sure.
Yes, I think that'll be
I'm good at delegating, but I have to get you with the timeline. I don't want to draw it out. If we draw it out, there's so then the kids need to register. I know. February.
And make the money those guys make. Thank you. I don't have my agenda.
Uh-oh. Did you reload? Julie's working on it.
I should have known.
Still thinking.
So what do I got? Yeah, you're just looking out for our tickets. Click on that. I have one in my ticket in my wallet.
Mine's slow too.
I don't know.
Mr. Graves?
Yes.
Moment of silence.
Yeah, I see that. We'll do that. Ready? Good evening, everyone. The hour of 7 p.m. having arrived and passed, I call to order this legislative meeting for the Woodland Hills School Board for the month of January 2019. Ms. Puel, will you call the roll?
Mr. David Graves?
Here. Present.
Ms. Sharday Seligson?
Present.
Mr. Jeff Hanchett?
Here.
Ms. Ava Johnson? Ms. Rhonda Curry?
Here.
Dr. Jeff Hildebrand?
Here.
Ms. Paige Strasbaugh?
Here.
Mr. Mike Belmont?
Here.
Ms. Jamie Glasser?
Present. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. Okay. That will move us to the acceptance of the minutes for the reorganization and legislative meetings for December 2018. Is there a motion to accept the minutes?
So moved.
Moved by Dr. Hildebrand, second by Ms. Strasbaugh. Any questions or addendum to the minutes? Okay. Seeing none, we'll take the vote.
Julie, how vote? Nothing came up.
Oh, there we go.
Julie, mine hasn't come through yet.
Very
It's
slow.
very, very slow.
I can still see this. There's a little thing timing out there. So I don't.
Did you get yours yet, Mr. Graves?
Yeah.
Mr. Belmont, did you get yours?
I did. Came up
Oh,
twice.
just came up nice. Okay, just came up. Thank you.
Motion carries.
I'm removing Ava right now. I'm sorry. She was.
That's okay. Thank you. That was a unanimous vote. The board met in executive session this evening to discuss legal personnel and safety matters. Mr. Harris, we have announcements?
Yes, we'd like to thank all the many individuals and organizations who donated gifts to our families and our students for the past holiday season. The Swiss Vale Police Department, Forest Hills Presbyterian Church, Best Batch Foundation, Woodard and Curran Engineering and Technology Company, the Edgewood Police, Fraternal Order of Police, Officer Pleen from the Churchill Police Department, Miss Kyla Clare, English arts teacher at the Woodland Hills Junior Senior High School, would like to acknowledge Melissa Foster, a 10th grade student, as the winner of the Best of School category for Our Race is Not a Disgrace in the Carnegie Mellon University Martin Luther King Jr. Writing Award Contest. Melissa will be recognized at CMU's annual MLK Junior Day Writing Awards ceremony, date to follow. A very honorable mention to Damian Davila, 11th grade student, who was close behind for his writing of Am I a Real Guy? Congratulations to both students on a job well done, and a special thank you to Ms. Claire and Mr. Kevin McGuire for introducing the incredible opportunity to the students. On a different note, I wanted to make a statement. Over the last few weeks, I've been made aware of the interest in starting a charter school focusing on gifted students and one that focuses on students of color. I will not go into the complications on actually identifying potentially gifted students and what negative feelings it could create in a child refuse entry, or actually implementing a school with predominantly black male teaching staff. Therefore, I will focus on Woodland Hills School District. Since arriving here in August, I have been pleasantly surprised at the work being done here. I really did expect to discover teachers and staff with extremely low expectations of students and students who have given up. This is far from what I have found. This school district, with all of its problems publicly displayed, has an incredibly robust academic program with many students gifted and potentially gifted and or talented who share a love for the arts, sports, and life. The curriculum is extremely diverse with a student-centric focus. And if you are reading the stories weekly in the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette featuring our many versatile students, you cannot help but to feel proud. I'm aware of many who were against a merger may find this as a way to split from that action, and if they have the votes, I'm sure it will occur. However, prior to proceeding, I would suggest anyone who really wants to start a charter school for whatever reason first take a moment to visit the district and redirect their energies to making the existing district stronger with their resources to benefit all students and not the students from a specific zip code. In doing that, it will make all 12 communities stronger and prosperous. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. I second everything you said.
Does anyone else have announcements?
Please plan on attending. We're going to have a facilities committee meeting on February 6th at 5 o'clock to review the Giza Phase 1 bids that came in. So.
Okay. Anyone else have announcements?
Basketball showcase.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Yeah, the basketball showcase is this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, and Monday as well. So there will be, I think, more than 50 games played in the high school this weekend, with teams visiting us from all over the Mid-Atlantic region of the country, really. So come out and catch a couple of games, and it should be a really good weekend. So, anyone else have any other announcements? Okay. Seeing none, Mr. Harris, do we have student speakers from the high school this evening?
We have listed registered speakers.
Registered speakers, but not student speakers to present on the high school stuff. Okay. That brings us to presentations and the Intermediate Spirit Awards. Ms. Klein?
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm very, very happy to be here, representing all of the staff of the Woodland Hills Intermediate School. You know, every year we give out the Wolverine Spirit Award for 2 students who represent the best traits of being a Wolverine. And I'm very proud to say that we had more nominees this year than ever before. So it was a difficult decision, but the 2 students chosen really represent the best. And know that it was fiercely competitive, but you deserve this award very, very much. It's the Wolverine Spirit Award. So, Aubrey, if you will come up, and Aubrey was nominated by Miss Muhammad. Aubrey's a 4th grade high school.
Aubrey walks in every day with a huge smile on her face. Aubrey is kind, generous, and loving towards everyone she encounters. A hardworking student who puts forth 100% effort every day. Not only does Aubrey come in every day with a positive attitude, but she goes home and does the same. Aubrey and her family spend countless hours giving back to the community by organizing, promoting, and facilitating the Braddock Toy Drive. Aubrey exemplifies exactly what the Wolverine spirit is.
Thank you. And Michael Bird from 5th grade.
Thank you.
Ms. McGee nominated Michael.
Michael is a hardworking student who exemplifies the 5 Ps on a regular basis. He gets along well with others and always shows kindness and respect to his peers, teachers, and the school environment. In addition to being an asset in the classroom, Michael plays the cello in the school's orchestra, basketball in the district for the Nets. At the intermediate building, his favorite subjects are reading and writing. And when he's not Not in school or on the court, he enjoys video games and playing with his little brother.
So I'd like to thank the families for coming, and Michael and Aubrey. You truly are the best of the best, and you show that at the Woodland Hills Intermediate School. We are 556 students strong. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and congratulations to the students and to your families. Thank you all for being here to recognize them. And thank you to the teachers and to Ms. Klein for taking the time to come and recognize the students as well. We appreciate that. So, okay. And that will move us to registered speakers. Mr. Fogarty, if he's here. Don't see him. Okay. Ms. Horowitz? Don't see her either. Ms. Brooks? Okay. Mr. Soderberg?
Do I get there 3 minutes? 2 minutes?
2 minutes, yes, sir.
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Everybody wasn't here. How about that?
2 minutes.
Never mind, I'm kidding. Thank you for having me. I'm here. Happy New Year, everybody, since it's still pretty close. Okay, my name is Bob Soderberg, and I'm the president of the Swissvale Braddock Midget Football Organization. All right, I spoke to you guys way back in, I think, in August someplace about the concession stand at Dixon Field, that where we practice. Our goals for the football team, let's just stay with the football team, is to help the school and get to curb the violence in the school district. All right, which I think it has. I'm not real sure, but I don't hear it on the news every day like Mr. Harris says. It's on the news. So but what I'm here for today is, since I only have 2 minutes, the name of the game. Hello. Okay. What I'm here for is the fee schedule for the rental of the field. All right. The rental of the field, the Wolverine. Let's just start with the Wolverine. The Swissvale Braddock organization, we have spent to date $2,312.64 just for the rental of the Wolverina. All right. First, I want to talk about, and right now we are having basketball practice. We went into basketball to keep the kids off the street and to keep the kids there. So keep the kids together, and we're here now. We're going to be renting a gym for 3 nights a week. On Saturday is another day, is when we play our games. Okay, and that's going to cost us $3,750. Okay, and that's not counting the custodian fee. My biggest concern is the custodian fee is $45 an hour. I don't see too many people making $45 an hour. It's just being a janitor. Okay, I want to see if we can investigate this and see if we can get something done about it, for one. And it's 2 minutes up. And the third thing is if we can get like a waiver for some of our teams. We're here for the community. Okay, we have 95% participation in the communities in Swissvale, Braddock, Rankin, in the school district. And what we're going to do, we've been here established. Our Swissvale's been established, Braddock's been established, and we've been together. I see that on the schedule for the other places, other venues, they have people that are waived. I just think we're spending too much money. Okay. It's hard to, I don't know if you really realize how this, right now it's like $6,000 we'll be spending. $6,000 is a lot of hot dogs to be sold, all right, for us to make it. A lot of fundraising to be sold. I know you do, the band does fundraisers, the whole 9 yards. I would like to have something reevaluated that we can get something out of the deal, something lowered. And I don't know how to do it, but I pay my bills, and right now I don't know how we're going to pay the $3,700 right now. The kids are not getting charged. The kids are not getting charged. The kids are, we only started Monday. So, obviously, if we're going to play our games here, we have fans, but they're all going to stand. There's no seats. So, I don't know how we're going to raise the money, and unless we do a lot of fundraisers, then I don't know.
Okay.
But I just wanted to show my piece. One other question. Did we ever have this decision on the concession stand at Dixon so we could use it and so we have money for football too?
This isn't a forum for us to answer that question, but we'll talk about that after the meeting.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. That concludes registered speakers. Mr. Harris, then move us into the agenda.
Okay, Board Matters 2.1, third and final reading of Policy 907, Volunteers. Any questions?
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Dr. Hildebrand, second by Mr. Hanchett. Any questions? Okay. Seeing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. That'll move us to 2.2.
2.2, first reading of revised policy 314, physical examinations of administrative employees.
As this is a first reading, we will take no action tonight, but are there any questions? Okay, seeing none, we'll move to 2.3.
2.3, first reading of revised policy 414, physical examination of professional employees.
Again, this is a first reading, so no action this evening. Any questions? Okay. Seeing none, 2.4.
2.4, first reading of revised policy 514, physical examination of classified employees.
This also is a first reading, so no action this evening. Any questions? Okay. Seeing none.
Okay. 2.5, seek approval to accept the $2,500 donation from Edgar Snyder and Associates, LLC, to be allocated to Edgewood Primary.
Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Dr. Hildebrand, second by Mr. Hanchett. Any questions on this? Okay. Seeing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. And again, our congratulations to Montgomery Brown for the winning submission. That'll move us to 2.6.
2.6, we seek approval of the attached resolution 535-19 between the Eastern Area Special Schools and Towerco 2013 LLC regarding a ground lease agreement.
Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Mr. Hanchett, second by Ms. Curry. Any questions on this? Okay. Seeing none, we will take the vote.
It's unanimous. I'm not sure.
Sorry?
It's unanimous. I don't know why.
The motion carries unanimously on that one, and we'll move to 2.7. Apologies for the screen delay.
2.7, we seek approval of Resolution 536-19 authorizing the participation in and appointment of Michael Gigliotti as primary representative and Valerie Shaver, alternate representative to the Allegheny Intermediate Unit Joint Purchasing Program for the 2019-2020 school year.
Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Mr. Hanchett, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Any questions on this one? Okay. Seeing none, take the vote.
Can you explain it a little bit?
Sorry.
What that entails, your duties?
My duties would be to participate in the meetings and help decide the purchasing of electricity, gasoline, diesel fuel, natural gas, and we used to do janitorial supplies, but now we're only just doing copy paper. But we seek proposals and decide on the lower priced ventures that we go in. As a matter of fact, in February, I'll be asking the board to approve the natural gas contract that they just been recently rewarded to UGI for an 18-month period. So it's joint purchasing of basically all the school districts, so we get better pricing. Volume, we do with volume.
Any other questions? Okay. Seeing none, take the vote. Motion carries unanimously, which will move us to special education and 5.1.
Okay, special education 5.1, approval to operate an extended school year, ESY, program in summer of 2019, July 8th through August 2nd, 2019, at Woodland Hills Academy for students who are eligible to participate. Estimated cost of in-district ESY program is $171,000. Funds to be allocated from IDEA Part B.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Hanchett, second by Ms. Strasbog. Any questions on the ESY program for the summer?
I'm sure I should probably know this, but what is IDEA Part 8?
Part B?
Part B, sorry, yeah.
Ms. Johnson.
That's the money that we're allocated from federal funds.
Okay. Sorry, I just don't remember seeing that acronym for that. Okay.
Individuals with Disabilities Education Act.
Yep. Correct. Any other questions on this? Okay. Seeing none, we'll take the vote.
There has to be something.
Motion carries unanimously, which will move us to 5.2.
5.2, approval to ratify, renew letter of agreement between Presley Ridge and the Woodland Hills School District.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Hanchett, second by Ms. Seligson. Any questions on this one?
So this isn't for a specific student. This is just in case,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
That's what I thought. Just wanted to make sure.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, seeing none, take the vote.
That's an error message.
How about now?
Good.
Good.
Okay, so I got the same thing again. This isn't Chicago. I'm not like voting multiple times, right? Or is it?
And who knows? It actually registered your vote, so you only got one vote.
Okay.
Mr. Hanchett, did your...
Oh, I clicked it once, I guess.
Mr. Graves, did yours come through?
Yeah.
Oh, I just got it now, thank you.
Motion carries unanimously, which moves us to section 7.1.
Okay, personnel 7.1, section A, authorization for leaves. Section B, authorization for retirement resignation. Section C, authorization to hire professionals. Section D, authorization to hire non-professionals. Section F, authorization for EDR mentor actions. Section G, authorization for miscellaneous.
Questions on this would require executive session. Is there any need to go into executive? Okay. Seeing none, we'll take the vote.
I need a motion.
Sorry?
Motion.
Oh, sorry. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Sorry. Sorry. Apologies. Moved by Dr. Hildebrand, second by Mr. Henchett. Now I'll ask, is there any need to go into executive session? Okay. Still no. We'll take the vote, please. Motion carries unanimously, which moves us to Section 8, Technology, 8.1.
Okay, Technology 8.1. We seek approval for data center remote support services at a cost of $6,000 from General Fund 10.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Dr. Hildebrand, second by Ms. Strassbog. Any questions or other issues on this? Okay, seeing none, take the vote. Motion carries unanimously, which moves us to 8.2.
8.2, we seek approval for the purchase of a district radio repeater system with 25 portable radios at a cost of $25,000. The funding will be provided through the School Safety and Security Grant Program.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Dr. Hildebrand, second by Ms. Strassbog. Any questions on this one?
Yeah, so I have a question. I understand the importance of this, but what do we do currently? Do people use their cell phones? Do we have a system that we're replacing?
Yeah, people can use their cell phones, but we do have mobile radios in the schools.
Right.
However, they're the old analog style, so there's always noise and crackles in there, and you can't even get full coverage in the building. A lot of dead spots. The digital radio itself is so much better improved that you can get coverage in a building, and the repeater systems will ensure that and also enable communications to all the buildings throughout the district.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Yes, Sam, I have a question. Is this something we have to bid out, or is this?
No, we did not have to because it's under the CoStar state contract.
Does that answer your question, Mr. Graves? Okay. Any other questions, Mr. Graves?
No, that's fine, thank you.
Okay. Anyone else have questions? Okay. Seeing none, we'll take the vote.
Sorry.
Motion carries unanimously, which moves us to Section 11, Buildings and Grounds, 11.1.
Buildings and Grounds, 11.1. We seek approval for the use of facilities by outside organizations for the 2018-19 school year.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Dr. Hildebrand, second by Mr. Henchett. Any questions on this? Okay. Seeing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously, which moves us to 11.2.
Okay, this is a tongue twister. Okay, 11.2. We seek approval of proposed change orders PCO GC-01, add $385,117. PCO GC-02, deduct $189,217. And PCO GC-03, add $17,203 for a net total of $213,103 from Nello Construction for the Dixon project.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved by Dr. Hildebrand, second by Ms. Curry. Any questions on this?
Mr. Finney, could you give everybody a brief description of what's going on with this?
What's that? Mike.
We have the
Sorry, Bob.
architect and construction manager here. They may be better to answer any questions.
Good evening, here. Good evening. Mike.
What's up?
Questions?
Yeah, what happened with the sheathing, if I'm saying that correctly? It was, I know we talked about.
Would you like us to go over each individual one or just want a general update of what's going on in the project?
General update.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
General, please.
Okay. Actually, the project's moving along pretty well. We have, actually Building B, which is the new addition, and Building A, which is the renovated portion of Dixon. In the renovated portion of Dixon, we're actually on schedule. Things are moving very well. We're installing drywall on the second and third floor. We're actually framing on the first floor and on the lower level. We're inside the former gymnasium. We started construction in there with our new steel. We've erected the steel in there. In Building B, we're a little bit behind in Building B, mainly because of the weather. We'd had so much wet weather this past fall and into the winter that we're a little bit behind. However, we still have 11 months to pick that up, and we feel confident that we'll be able to finish the project on schedule and on time. We've had some setbacks with some change orders. The biggest one being the lentils. We'd like to speak with you about that. We've had some problems with the lentils. This is classified as an unforeseen condition. We didn't know it existed at the time of bidding. When we began to open up the building and take some of the brick out to do some investigative work and see what these lentils, the condition they were in, we found them to be a combination of things. One, there's actually a steel beam, and it's actually not a lentil. That there's a plated piece of steel that's riveted to the I-beam that's actually supporting the building on each floor. This building's 90 years old. This is not something that's, this type of construction is very uncommon. So when we opened it up, it was a surprise. Also, what we've experienced with these lentils is that there have been former renovations that were done on the building, and when they installed and replaced these lentils, the lentils, I'm not sure when the renovation was done, possibly in the late 80s or early 90s, but when they installed the lentils were unfinished. They were not galvanized, they were not painted, they were raw steel. So when we first looked at them from the ground, as best we could from the second and third floor, we were unable to determine that they were in this condition. They actually looked to be okay, just rusted. So we thought we'd clean them up and clean them up and they'd be fine. However, we found that they were left raw, and as a result, they're rusted and become deteriorated. And it's our recommendation that instead of replacing just some of the lentils and some of the steel, we replace them all, because we're going to, when they were put in before, the system that we're installing would have prevented them from rusting. So instead of just replacing some of them, it's our recommendation we replace them all, simply because they'll last the life of the building. the installation that they had done before caused the problems that we have now. So we're experiencing renovations that were done in the past. We're actually correcting their mistakes. We're finding that to be true throughout the building, not only with the lentils. But we feel we have a good solution. We've worked the price down on those lentils. We've worked with the contractor. We've come up with the teams come up with a couple different designs to get the best possible price and not jeopardize quality at all. It's uncommon to have a change order of this size, but we are adding value and life to the building. So we feel confident, what we're doing is for the best for our school and our school district.
I believe, Sergey, you had a specific question.
He touched on it. It was hard to hear on the phone that day, so that makes more sense. So basically, they're rusted out, and we need to replace them for safety.
It's our recommendation we replace them all, because if we just be selective and choose the worst, which is what we thought we could do originally, we thought we could. With the way they've been installed and the conditions that exist, we're going to have that problem 20 years from now.
You would be gambling as to whether or not the same condition is going to happen at all of them. It's just a matter of some have deteriorated faster than the others, but they're all they're all in a state of deterioration. Some are just better than others.
So that's the biggest. That's one of the biggest costs that we have. It's uncommon to have one that large. I've never had one that big before, but this building's all windows. If you look and come to our project, and I invite any of you to give me a call. I'm on site every day. I'll give you a tour of the building as it exists right now. There's a lot of windows in our building, so.
I think one of the other large change orders was the fact that when they started working on the sanitary line, it was discovered it had a hole and it created the sinkhole. So that all had to be structurally corrected.
First floor corridor.
First floor corridor.
Yeah, who finds a sinkhole in the middle of the corridor of the school? When we excavated for our new sanitary line, we had a collapse of the corridor. The soils actually collapsed 6 foot and probably 5 foot wide.
That's not. It wasn't a structural issue with the building.
No,
just with the slab. So once we started cutting the slab in order to put all the new piping in, there was nothing there to support it. So basically, all had to be torn out and a new structural slab be installed.
We fixed it.
That's been corrected, and there's no other issues structurally with the building as a result of that.
It was correct. And again, we put a structural slab in to span the area, but there was nothing structurally wrong with the building.
Okay, and there's no reason to believe that the sinkhole will recur on that site. No reason to think.
The sanitary is completely
abandoned
and brand new was placed.
Okay.
We've had a couple other small structural issues where when we opened up walls, we found out that they weren't supported. I think that's reflected in the change order 3, I believe.
They were supported, but they in a different direction that had been indicated in the original drawing. So that when they started opening it up, they found out that the structure was running perpendicular to where we had thought it was going parallel, and so we just had to basically reevaluate it, and our structural engineer had to come up with a solution to fix the fact that things were running in a different direction.
So just another kind of like off cycle. So we had a problem with the sewage line that had the hole in it. So while you guys were in there, I have a question. Do we look at the rest of the line out to where it connects to the street to make sure there's no more holes farther along, so we don't have to...
That'll be part of the project. I think the whole...
Let's set a camera down there or something.
Connection...
So the majority of the sanitary has been replaced. It's all brand new.
Inside and outside.
Correct.
I think the tap in, I think we're...
because as long as you
even
get
the storage
work out, just make
valid.
sure there's nothing else going on farther down the line.
We're separating everything, putting in all new sanitary and all new storm lines. At one time, all the sanitary and all the storm water went into the same drain and into the same manhole. We have since separated that. We've now installed a new... there's a cost change for that because we didn't know. But we separated the roof water stormwater from the sanitary, and we're dumping it into our new stormwater system. But we didn't know that because no way of determining that during pre-construction. The building's 90 years old.
There's always the unforeseen thing. She just.
But we've corrected all that, so we're happy with the way all that's ongoing.
Okay. All right, any other questions on these? Okay.
Yes,
Mike.
Jeremy, I have a question.
Yeah, Mr. Graves.
In the future, when we have such large change orders, is there any way we could break them out instead of just clumping them all in for one time for voting?
They are.
I think they all are broken out. We actually we provided a handout
Algie, I'm sorry,
for
Mr.
all
Graves.
those change orders. I'm sorry.
Algie's, Mr. Graves is speaking, so let's just listen. Sorry, Mr. Graves, go ahead.
No, what I was saying was I do see all the individual change orders. What I'm saying is there are some that are substantially large, and if we can possibly break them out of into individual tabs for voting.
Is that something you want to make a modification tonight? Do you want to amend the tab tonight, or do you want to do that going forward?
I think we should do it going forward.
Okay. That's something we can talk to Mr. Gigliotti and Ms. Pule about for our procedure purpose. We can talk about that. We don't need to talk about that right this minute. We can figure that out. We can figure out a procedure for that if going forward, unless you want to do that tonight.
We'll certainly take care of that.
We'll figure that out. Yeah, that's something we need to do
We have a lot of
internally.
credits.
That's right.
We had $197,000 in
Sure.
credits.
Because really, if you look at the GC which we're on right now, the net change order is $213,103.
Right.
The big change order that you are really approving is the full lintel replacement worth $259,000.
Right.
So I mean they offset. It's actually less than where it's. So that's why this was presented this way, because we had so many credits.
Okay.
Yeah, but so we'll talk about it later, but this will give us a better idea of how much we're spending, because now we're pushing like $30 million for this project, which...
No, they're not.
No?
We're still on budget.
When you originally gave these numbers, it was, like 800? It was...
Yeah, but you see it's 400,
Yeah, you corrected it, but...
The total right now is, of these change orders of $404,468, so we still have about a $250,000 cushion in our contingency.
I talked to our office today. Our contingency's like $698 or something. Is it not, Mike? Something.
Well, the original was about $648, but I know he says he identified some additional dollars.
Yeah, we have almost $300. Well, I was told today we have almost $300,000.
Okay.
And I just want to mention that most of the work that we've done so far has been in the renovated building. So, knock on wood, most of this stuff is now all out in the open. We've met with the contractors. The team's met with the contractors. We've told them, if you see anything in the future, we need to know, because, we've already experienced some big change orders. Our contingency is taking a hit. Obviously, that's why we have our contingency, to take care of this sort of thing. However, we're almost done with the work not almost done, but we're at a point in the renovated building where we kind of have a lot of the rough ends behind us. We've tore everything out and we're putting it back together. So, knock on wood, we feel that we should be okay.
Can we get a firm number on what the contingency remaining is after the change orders?
Yes.
Mr. Gigliotti? Thank you. Anyone else have questions? Mr. Graves, anything else?
No, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay. That being the case, call the vote. Motion carries by a vote of 7-1. That moves us to 11.3.
11.3, we seek approval of proposed change order PCOEC-01 net total of $160,974 from Pitt Electric for the Dixon project.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Hanchett, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Any questions?
For your information, there on your seat there is a log that shows the different change orders.
Bless you.
Your totals. Bless you.
Oh, yeah, Al, did you give a brief breakdown for the sake of the public?
Okay.
How do you want to give a general description of what's going on?
The big one in here is the where we had to. And once again, I keep saying, our building's 90 years old. What we found out is we're dealing with other people's renovations here, and when we started doing the rewiring of the building, we found out that we have to redo all the wire on the second and third floor. It doesn't meet code. So, this was somebody else's mistake that they somehow got away with whenever that previous renovation was done, and now we have to correct it. So we have a $68,000 change order to correct somebody else's mistake that somehow and Pete and I have discussed it. It's almost criminal. Too bad we don't know who did it or we can't go after them. But it's.
So they ended up having common grounds in a circuit. You need to have basically one power and one ground or return, and in conduits there would be like 5 or 6 power, but only 2 or 3 grounds. So the common wires were you have to have a common for every single one of the power, and that's not what's existing in the building, and so they had to correct it. It's absolutely against code.
It's just. Of course, they didn't have a construction manager then to watch.
Okay. Any questions on that? Any further conversation? Okay. Seeing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries 7-1. That moves us to 11.4.
11.4, we seek approval of proposed change order PCO PC-01 totaling $30,391 from Shipley Brothers Plumbing for the Dixon project.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Hanchett, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Any questions?
Could you explain this, Algie?
Sure, Mike. I touched on it briefly earlier, and that during pre-construction we had no idea that the design professional had no idea that the sanitary and storm was a combined system, which is not uncommon in Pittsburgh. We found that to be true at the Academy, and I'm sure it's true in many of the buildings throughout the Pittsburgh area. So the design professional did put in roof drains and show the roof drains draining inside the building. However, we had no idea where we were going to tap into the system outside the building. So, or how we were going to get there, the route in which we were even going to get to that point because of the congestion site in the back. So, once this was discovered, we actually ended up running a lot of the storm line underneath the new slab that was poured in the corridor on the first floor. In other words, when we excavated the collapsed corridor, we put in bar joists. We ran the storm underneath the corridor.
We tried to take
on the bar joists, took advantage of the opening.
Since it was open, let's use it, and it would save money because we wouldn't have to run it somewhere else.
Saved a whole bunch of money through not needing to excavate outside. So, and as far as I think we saved a whole bunch of money doing it in that manner. So, for all the work that's been done, I think we have done a lot of value engineering and have saved us a lot of money. I am a taxpayer in the district. I do live here, so I watch all of our money on site as best I can. I guarantee you that.
Okay. Any other questions?
I'll say I'll agree with you when it comes to the plumbing. I know with the dye testing, excavation is always the biggest cost. Even in just small homes, you're looking at $10,000 just to start digging up plumbing. So it was smart to take advantage if it was already open rather than digging a new hole. So
thank you, Sharon. Thank you.
I'll give you that credit.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions or comments? Okay. Seeing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries 7-1. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you, everyone.
And that'll move us to Section 12, Legal Matters, 12.1.
Okay, Legal Matters 12.1. We seek approval of the agreement with Foreman Architects and the payment in full amount of $45,000 as settlement for litigation initiated against the district by Foreman Architects, case number GD 17-003153.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Hanchett, second by Mr. Strasbach. Any questions or concerns on this one? Okay. Seeing none, take the vote. Motion carries 7-1.
Okay, School Finance 13.1. We seek ratification of the bill list for invoices paid after December 3rd, 2018 legislative meeting.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Strasbach. Any second by Dr. Hildebrand. Questions on the ratification list?
Yeah, I just have sort of a random question that I probably should have asked long ago. So I know there's just like 3 pages of orders from Amazon. How does that actually work? So if I'm a teacher and I want to order something from Amazon, do I just go and order it and then get reimbursed, or do all orders go through somebody?
That's our expenditures. They're buying supplies. They're a vendor just like Office Depot, Scholastic. They go on Amazon and find there it's actually cheaper in a lot of the cases to buy some of the books and things that we do there.
Sure, I get that.
A lot of it. I mean, we have a credit system with them. They choose what they want. A lot of it's grants. It comes through me. It's a purchase order that's issued, and then the products are bought.
Okay. So that's the same way then for like Home Depot and Shop and Save and all those things?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But none of them have reimbursements? They all just have the fee. That's why I was curious how that was just set up.
They have reimbursements?
No, they're not.
Oh, no,
what I'm saying is that someone's not buying it and then... Okay.
No, it's the school district purchasing it.
Okay.
And they're another vendor that we use.
Okay. No, I was just curious. Thanks.
Any other questions? Okay. Seeing none, take the vote. Motion carries 7-0 with 1 absent at the time of the vote. Moving on to 13.2.
Okay, 13.2, we seek approval of the January 2019 bill list.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Dr. Hildebrand, second by Ms. Strasbach. Any questions on the bill list?
Yeah, so I was looking at some of the, and I believe they're the charter school charges. I'm curious how we're getting billed for February and March already.
They're billing us ahead because by the time we pay them,
What happens if the student is no longer going there in February?
we catch up with them.
Okay.
We have a person here, Danielle, who reviews every invoice that comes in and verifies the student count to the information provided us by the school, the registration information. So she continuously, and a lot of these she has crossed off 1 student, 2 students, and we've adjusted the payment to them.
Okay.
And at the end of the year, there is a reconciliation that I basically hold until we get the final child count from the child accounting system reported to BDE. So there's a reconciliation at the end of the year.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Any other questions on the bills?
Ms. Glasser.
Yep.
I'd just like to point out on pages 17 and 18, most of the cyber charter school bills are in that section in the thousands and thousands of dollars. And it was in the news today that the school performance profile for each of those charter schools was a failure number. Schools have to, when they pass, it has to be 70 or above. And none of the cyber schools in Pennsylvania hit that number.
I have another comment. I don't know if you noticed that. I think it was in yesterday's PSBA daily update. But the majority of the cyber charter schools are operating currently without charters, approved charters. PDE has not approved them. One, I forget which one it was, they've been operating 6 years without a charter, so they've been operating longer than the charter would have lasted because they're only 5-year charters. That's another thing that is disturbing.
Very.
Any other questions or discussion? Okay. Seeing none, we'll take the vote.
Did we have a motion? Did we have a motion?
Yes, we did.
I apologize. I didn't catch it.
I believe it was Ms. Strasbaugh and Dr. Hildebrand.
Sure, why not?
It was over on this side.
Someone on that side.
Yeah. Okay. Motion carries 7-0 with 1 absent at the time of the vote. That moves us to 13.3.
13.3, we seek approval of the November and December 2018 fund reports and student activity reports for informational purposes.
Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Ms. Strasbaugh, second by Ms. Curry. Any questions on this one? Okay. Seeing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries 7-0 with 1 absent at the time of the vote, which moves us to 13.4.
13.4, we seek approval of the investment reports for November and December 2018.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Dr. Hildebrand, second by Ms. Strasbaugh. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, take the vote.
Julie, I received data.
Yay or nay?
Yay.
Thank you. You didn't get one either? Yay or nay?
Yeah.
Mr. Hildebrand, did you get yours?
I thought I did, but yes.
Yes. Mr. Belmont?
Yes.
Ms. Glasser?
Yes.
Thank you. I'm not sure what's going on.
Motion carries 7-0 with 1 absent at the time of the vote, which moves us to 13.5.
Okay, 13.5, we seek approval to retain our current audit firm of Zelenkowski Axelrod LLC for an additional 3 years.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Dr. Hildebrand, second by Ms. Strasbaugh. Any questions on this one?
Mr. Gigliotti, are you happy with them as our auditors?
I'm satisfied with. Are you satisfied with them?
Well, you're the one that's to work with them.
I work with them closely. I mean, I feel comfortable with them. I mean, they're thorough, but they are, you know. I feel very comfortable with them. I recommend renewal. If that's what you're asking. But they are your auditors. I mean, just remember this. So. But yeah, I feel comfortable recommending another 3 years. Otherwise, I wouldn't put it on there.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, seeing none, take the vote. Motion carries 7-0 with 1 absent at the time of the vote, which moves us to 13.6.
13.6, we seek approval of resolution number 537-19 and the advertisement of the 2019-20 fiscal year preliminary budget.
Ms. Glass would like to make a motion to amend.
Yes, Mr. Miller.
Would like the motion to include not to exceed a possible tax increase not to exceed the index.
Okay. I don't yet have a motion or a second on this. So can I have a motion to approve the tab as amended?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Moved by Dr. Hildebrand, second by Ms. Strasbaugh. Just so everybody's clear on what Mr. Belmont has proposed, while we initially had in the tab a notice that the board would seek exceptions from the state to exceed the Act 1 index, which is the limit to which we can increase property taxes. The business office has determined it is not in our interest to do that. There's not enough of exceptions for which we're eligible to make it worth our while to pursue those exceptions. So the recommendation from administration, as I understand it, is that we replace the motion or the tab that was on the board tabs for tonight with the resolution not to exceed the Act 1 index. Is that correct, Mr. Gigliotti? Is
Yes.
that explanation that's fair? Okay, so that is the motion on the floor. I'll also note that this does not increase taxes. We're not doing that this evening. Our budget process is still very much in process. So there's not anything that's going to happen tonight that will increase taxes in the district. That's a conversation that we're still having and will continue to have over the next several months, and we welcome public participation in that conversation about our budget as we go forward. There will be several workshops coming up in the next few months, and we hope everyone who wishes to participate in that will do so. That being said, I'll jump off the soapbox and let anybody else ask questions they might have.
I'll jump on the soapbox.
Okay.
So just my only comment here, I'm disappointed. Just for courtesy, you can't post this stuff. Now, granted, we're making some changes here. Give the people more than 2 days to look at this budget. We have to vote before the 31st, but it would have been nice, since we did have, one workshop in November. We had a break. We didn't have a committee in December. But just to at least post what we have so people can have the time to read it. 2 days is not enough time. I didn't have enough time to look through everything. So.
Well, this is just adopting the resolution to post the budget, not to approve it. So that's what you're doing if you would have gone through with that.
I understand, but you still have numbers on there and that original proposal was to increase to 28 mills. I mean,
well, as I've told you in the past, we can't go that high. That's the procedure that I have to follow, set by PDE, Pennsylvania Department of Education, in order to qualify for referendum exceptions. But in calculating the referendum exceptions, it would be better for us to adopt the resolution not to exceed the index and go about our normal budget process.
Okay. Well, there's still a little bit of a millage increase there, but what I'm asking you, sir, just please, for the public, 2 days is not enough time to give people to read. It's a lot of paper on there. So when we move forward with, the actual workshops, it would be nice to have that in a time.
It will be.
Okay.
You got to realize that when I proposed this in November, PD had not opened up the budget. So I had no format to enter the numbers in until We basically got back from maybe right before Christmas. They might have opened up, and by the time I got them all keyed in was for the this agenda meeting. I couldn't get it done for last board meeting because there was some flux in some of the numbers.
Okay, but we have time now moving forward. So.
Well, it's out there now.
Yep.
So it'll always be updated to the next meeting.
Okay.
Just that first one was difficult getting out this year. Because they, like I said, PD hadn't opened the program up. I was going to have this done. I wanted it done for the December meeting, actually, but when I went to open up the budget, it wasn't available.
Yeah, but it is important that we have information available to the public in a timely fashion, and we will continue to be open with our budget process as we go forward the next couple of months and get that stuff out as early as we possibly can going forward. So I just want to reiterate on the Celtics consent. I think that's very important as well.
If I can just add now, so what this does is we will have our budget meetings at the Finance Committee, workshops and committee meetings, and in May we will adopt a preliminary budget, and then in June you'll be presented with the final budget.
Okay. Very good. Any questions on this motion or the process as we go forward?
I wanted to ask, is the new proposal going to be posted?
Yes.
Thank you.
Right now you have the paper
Right.
in front of you.
Yeah. They will also be incorporated in the minutes, of course.
Yeah.
As we move forward. So, any questions? Any further discussion? Okay. Seeing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries 7-1, and that moves us to Section 14, Superintendent.
Okay, Superintendent 14.1, we seek approval to accept a grant from the Jack Buncher Foundation in the amount of $4,000 to support the operations of the Swissvale Library.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Hanchett, second by Ms. Strasbaugh. Any questions on this one? Okay, seeing none. Motion carries unanimously, which moves us to 14.2.
14.2, we seek to ratify the acceptance of the $15,000 grant from Women for a Healthy Environment to support lead and radon testing in the Woodland Hills School District.
Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Mr. Hanchett, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Any questions on this? Okay, seeing none, take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. Apologies again for the delay on the screen, but that moves us to 14.3.
14.3, we seek to ratify the acceptance of the $20,000 grant from Women for a Healthy Environment to support lead and radon testing in the Woodland Hills School District.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Dr. Hildebrand, second by Mr. Hanchett. Any questions on this grant? Okay. Seeing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously, which moves us to 14.2. I'm sorry, 14.4.
14.4, we seek permission to accept a grant from the UPMC Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh in the amount of $3,000 to be used on a program or resources that promotes and encourages healthy behavior among students and our staff.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Hanchett, second by Ms. Strasbog. Any questions on this one? Seeing none, take the vote. Motion carries unanimously, which moves us to 14.5.
14.5, we seek approval for the Woodland Hills Junior-Senior High School to establish a finance club.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Hanchett, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Any questions on this club?
Play basketball in the hall?
It sounds like it. Seeing none, we will take the vote.
Yes.
I think basketball.
They're playing basketball.
I think, yeah, basketball practice is on. Yeah. All right. Motion carries unanimously, which moves us to 14.6.
14.6, we seek approval for the boys varsity basketball team, varsity cheerleading squad, and select student spectators to go on a trip to Cleveland, Ohio on Monday, February 11th, 2019.
So moved.
Is there a okay?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Mr. Belmont, second by Mr. Hanchett. Any questions on this?
Yeah, I have just one question. So is there going to be a limit to the number of students that go?
Yes.
Please, thank you.
No problem. We're capping it at 150 students. It's first come, first serve. We're doing it as a PBIS incentive. So essentially this week, all of the students, once this is approved, all the students will be able to sign up. Myself, Dr. Woods, and his administration team will then vet the list to make sure that every student has met the criteria. They must have a minimum GPA of a 2.3. They must have limited amount of absences. They cannot have missed more than 10 days of school. And they must have a minimal discipline record. Multiple suspensions or discipline referrals will eliminate them. And from there, we will then start selling physical tickets. But it is capped. The students know that it's capped. Once we get the students in place, we'll also be opening it to parents, community members, board members, anybody that wants to travel. Obviously, I'm sure most of you don't want to ride the bus. So if you want to drive on your own, you are welcome to do that, and we'll just sell you a ticket and you can meet us there. Unless you are feeling nostalgic and you want to ride the bus, then you're welcome to do that as well.
I apologize. I missed that 150. It's right here. I read all the criteria and missed the 150 students. Sorry.
No problem. But that'll be just for the kids. We will be able to get additional tickets for adults and community members that want to attend and support the kids as well.
Super.
I have a question. I remember us talking about this a long time ago, and we had talked about the need for a snow contingency plan.
Yes.
Is that something that we're...
So because that date was the only date we could get, there is no contingency other than we just cancel the trip and we'll play Plum either here at our gym or at their gym, on a later date.
So that would be the plan if
correct.
They're just to cancel the trip.
Correct.
For the sake of the good of the order, Mr. Corsi, would you just give a brief description of what's happening here?
Yeah, absolutely. So the high school boys team is invited to what is called a high school hoops showcase. There's a program that every NBA team sponsors called the Court of Dreams, where they invite high school teams to play on the NBA court in the NBA arena. I did a similar program at my last school in Philadelphia with the 76ers. Our boys varsity team will be playing Plum High School's varsity team. They'll be playing on Monday, February 11th. The game will tip at 3 o'clock. The ticket that our students and community members can purchase will grant them access not only to our game, but to the NBA game that follows. The Cavaliers play the Knicks at 7 o'clock that night. And so it's basically a doubleheader. The caveat is even our players have to buy tickets because they're not buying it for their game, so to speak. They're buying it for the Cavs game. And so obviously it's a community relation, it's a community outreach thing for the Cavs. They're trying to expand their market because Pittsburgh doesn't have a professional team. It's a great experience for the kids because they get to play on the NBA floor, the Jumbotron, there'll be a PA announcer, they get to get dressed in the locker room that the NBA players get dressed in. And then after the game, when the NBA players come out to shoot around and warm up, they'll get to meet them, they'll transition, they'll meet each other, shake hands, take pictures, all that good stuff. It's a really, really cool experience. And the Cavs are rolling out the red carpet for us, so to speak. So it's going to be a nice event.
Cool. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Seeing none, we'll take the vote. Motion carries unanimously. And that concludes the agenda, I believe.
Yes.
Okay. Is there any old business? Sure.
I'd just like to follow up on the comment I made about the cyber charter schools. The school performance profile number is a number assessed by the State Department of Education, and you have to have 70 to be considered successful. All of the cyber schools are failing. The highest of those failing cybers was a number around 60. The lowest was a number of 15, not 50, but 15. And these schools are being paid for by your tax dollars. So I just wanted to remind people of that. Thank you.
Okay. Any other old business? Okay. Seeing none. New business? Okay. We have no reports this evening, but committees will meet next week, Tuesday and Wednesday at 5 p.m. here at the Administration Building. The website lists which committees meet which night, and we welcome any and all public participation in those meetings, which are open to the public and free to attend. Any additional reports at this point? No? Okay. Is there anyone who wishes to address the board?
Here.
Please give your name and address, and you have 2 minutes to speak. Welcome.
Sure.
Glad you're here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, my name is Dan Miller. I live in Forest Hills, 500 Woodside. I just want to commend this council, the administration of the Woodland Hills School District, for making the changes and the strides that they've taken in the last 6 months. My wife and I were looking for a new home. We looked everywhere. And we both are products of the Woodland Hills School District. And we were very happy to see the changes that this council has made in the last 6 months or so. It's very encouraging. We decided to stay in the district. We moved to Forest Hills in October. And that is a commendment of all of you here. With that said, I want to follow on Mr. Belmont's comments about the charter school. There's strength and power in numbers, and if we all can rebuke the charter school here, in my opinion, they suck the lifeline out of the school district, and we need to rebuke them as much as possible. They are having an open meeting on January 30th, I believe at 7 o'clock at the Churchill Borough Building. I would encourage everyone to show up for that and show support for the Woodland Hills School District and not this charter school that they're proposing. We need the money that's to stay here in this district. So thank you everyone for your work and your efforts here. It's been well received, I think. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else who wishes to address the board? Good evening, Mr. Flanagan.
Good evening, Robert Flanagan, Braddock, Comrie Avenue. The group that's doing the basketball, you just got finished. They say they're being charged $2,500. I had never heard of that for a nonprofit group. I don't know if anything has changed over the years when it comes to that. I was wondering if anybody could answer that for me, whether it be after the meeting or what. But $2,500 for a nonprofit. I don't know if policies has changed.
We'll happily address that after the meeting, Mr. Flanagan.
Well, I mean,
Thank you.
I can throw my 2 cents in that. I used to run Edgewood basketball, and so we did it so the fees are waived during the week because there was a janitor in the building, but on Saturdays there was nobody there. So I had to, or Edgewood basketball had to pay for a janitor to come in. And the reason why it was so much, he commented for you, because the contract, that's overtime. So I have to pay the overtime rate for the janitors for some, and all I needed was for 2 minutes. Someone unlocked the door to let us in, and then locked the door on the way out. And then the only other thing I used to do is, complain about was just that I would pay the janitor money, but he had assigned duties by the school district to do work. And I was paying him to go work in the school. So, but that's where I think some of that is, the stuff comes in because the school's not open on Saturday. So during the week here, there's somebody here, they can open the door and close the door behind them.
They use it on Saturday?
Well, Edgewood basketball does, yes, they use it on Saturdays.
Because he told me their schedule was.
Oh, I don't know here, but I'm just saying from my experience.
We'll get you a more complete answer after the meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any additional public comment at this point? Okay. Seeing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Hanchett, second by Dr. Hildebrand. Any objection? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all. See you next month.